I am fresh off of a workout and a quick little meetup that I had with a friend of mine named Lydia. So here's what we were talking about. So you guys already know how cathartic it is to talk about things that have hurt you with other people who have gone through similar things. To quickly fill you in, so for those of you who have not watched my videos from the beginning, you already know that I have talked about a relationship that ended when I first got to Charlotte. Basically what happened with that is that they were a narcissist. We were engaged, we were living in California. I decided that, hey, let's move to Charlotte in order to start fresh, be closer to their kids, because they had some kids, and just start in a new place where the cost of living was better, just all of that jazz. I had been noticing that they had been spending a little bit more time away from home. Their kids were with us for the entire summer and they barely spent any time with them. It was just a lot going on. So when I decided to move to Charlotte, I was thinking, hey, this could be a fresh start. Of course, I have been dealing with the narcissist emotional abuse for at least the last 9 months. I probably have been dealing with it before that, but it was so subtle that I did not recognize it. I recognized things that had happened in hindsight. So we get here the night before they're set to go back to California, because we drove here. The night before they're set to go back, they discard. Here's the thing with narcissists. Narcissists discard because they get fuel from that, a high from it. It's like taking a hit of drugs. Because they have emotional imbalance, and it's something that it's a mental illness. They feel vulnerable, they feel inferior. They have to find ways in order to boost their own esteem. Even though it's temporary, they do it with the people they are in relationships with. And that doesn't have to be romantic. It could be friendships, whatever the case is. Emotional vampires. Whether that relationship that you have with them is good and positive or bad and negative, either way, they draw fuel from it. That is what I was dealing with, and I dealt with that. Like I said, we were in a relationship for almost 2 years, and I dealt with that for the predominance of the relationship, but it really got bad in the last 6 to 9 months. They do this whole thing where they try to reset you and control your behavior. This particular one would do is he would go days without talking to me. That was his way of trying to reset my behavior. Eventually, I kind of caught on to what was happening, because people who think they're smarter than you, it never fails. They think they're smarter than you, and so they think that somehow they are dictating your behavior. And so that's what was happening. He was going days without talking to me, ignoring me, alienation of affection, all of that. It's called emotional abuse. And so that is what I realized that I had dealt with for almost the entirety of our relationship. So my friend Lydia has gone through the exact same thing. So we decided we are going to start a podcast to help ladies who are in a relationship, and some guys who are in relationships with narcissists. I'm going to show you how to spot narcissistic behavior. They all have a pattern. They all do the same things. They don't even realize they do the same things. A lot of them don't even realize they're narcissists, but they are. And they'll probably never really understand or digest the fact that they're narcissists, because they don't take accountability for anything. They don't do anything wrong. It's never their fault. They would never accept the fact that they have a mental illness. We're going to show you how to spot narcissistic behavior, because it is toxic, and girl, you need to run that way. Get out of this relationship as quickly as possible. There is no good that comes from a narcissistic relationship, period. Me and Lydia have talked extensively about our experiences with narcissists. I occasionally post on my Instagram page just some helpful little tips and hints that you can look out for when you are dating a narcissist. We've shared stories, and she was married to one. I was in a relationship with one. And so we decided that we wanted to get together. We want to help other women who are going through similar things. And here's who this podcast is really for. And that's what it is. We're starting a podcast. This podcast is for women who are in the midst of an unhealthy relationship and you don't quite know what the heck is going on. You see like these little signs of things not being right, but you just can't put your finger on why they're not right. So for instance, say you're dating someone and they decide just out the blue, one day you guys are totally fine, and then the next day they're mad at you and not talking to you, but they haven't told you why. And you find that this goes on day in and day out. One week you're good, one week you're not, and you have no clue as to what is actually occurring that is creating this imbalance. What is creating this imbalance? We are here to help. I feel like we can shed a little bit of light from a female perspective on how to recognize when you are in a relationship with a narcissist. For those single mothers out here, unfortunately, these types prey on single mothers because you are empathetic and some are empathic, and they're looking for that motherly figure, but at the same time, because they are toxic and unhealthy, they're going to cause disruption and toxicity in your life. I just want to help other women out there who are going through similar things. They're in a relationship that, you know, from the outside looking in seems like it's normal and it seems like it's happy, but then behind closed doors, you're dealing with emotional abuse, sometimes physical abuse. So we just want to get to the bottom of it, and we are also going to give you tips on how, number one, if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, how you can get out, but then also how to deal with their bad behavior, because they all have bad behavior, and for the most part, they follow the same tactics. They do the same things. So they start off with the love bomb. They can't get enough of you. They're gaslighting. They're telling you that what you see and hear is not real because they want you to trust them. They're having the flying monkeys, the people out here doing their bidding that are watching you online, reporting back to them. Family, it can be family members, it can be friends, as the highs and the lows. And then you have your discard phase where they discard you for someone or something else, but then they try to come back. A lot of times they'll try to come back to test the waters, to see where you're at, to gauge you emotionally and see how you'll respond to them. We are going to talk about all of that. You guys are going to be in the know so that when you see these jokers coming, you know to head in the opposite direction. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so I am here at the White Kurt offices because I have to come check in and game plan. Got to come up with some new things, learn about some new programs for real estate.
Yeah.
Is that
1101?
1101. Thank you.
Yeah, you know the lady at the boutique, a dress boutique, she be having like dresses sitting on the sidewalk?
I think I've seen that. So apparently I was in the wrong place. So let's try this again.